Hey guys, and welcome to this video. Today we are talking about some differences between a pro rider like Scott Redding and me as a hobby rider. I met Scott Redding in Jerez de la Frontera in the south of Spain. And actually I did already a video on my German channel where I was talking about with him, and he gave us some advice to ride and something like that. And also we went out on a track together, and I have the opportunity to do some onboard laps with him. I have a camera on it, and I put a camera on his bike, and we did a couple of laps. And after it I went home and I saw the laps, and I realized that there are some differences between us in kind of a riding style. And also Alberto Nasca did already a comparison between Jonas Folger and him. And I think this is a bit different because I'm way slower than Alberto Nasca. Not way, but a bit slower. Alberto Nasca, his level is really high, and my level is a bit underneath it. So for example, Scott Redding did 1.42 with a completely stock Ducati V4S, completely stock, just with Pirelli slicks. And I had a Yamaha R1 RN49 Buell from Yard, complete super bike, or also with engine made and something like that. So it's it was not depending on the bike. So far so good. And what I realized are a big difference between the line. So I forgot to say, I did in Jerez, I did the 1.46 high. So that's for a hobby rider, it's not bad, but that's more than 4 seconds away from Scott. So there's a really big gap. And someone of you guys could say, no, that's just 4 or 5 seconds, that's good. But in reality, while we are riding, there are a step like, what the hell? that's a really big step between us. So let's jump into the computer and take a look at the onboard. Where are the most and the biggest difference what I saw, and I will tell to you guys maybe why there are the difference and why the difference is faster of Scott. So here we are in Jerez de la Frontera. In the front, that's me on the Yamaha. So we are going to the end of the track. He already would overtake me, but he didn't do it. So that's a quite interesting thing on the last corner, because he is doing like a little view. He go in a little bit more straight and stay away from the curb, and he goes to the curb again when I leave the curb, something like that. You see? So when that's strange, because I thought, I'm perfectly on the exit, so the exit is as straight as possible, and I can open the throttle, and what happened? The bike runs wide. And maybe I couldn't open the gas 100% completely, so I was opening like, and in this case Scott was already still on the apex, still on the curb. And he was waiting with the throttle, and he was waiting maybe 1 or 2 seconds more than me. But when he opened the throttle, he could open it completely, like a little bit of holding the throttle and open it 100% like this. And he upright the bike really quick, and now he could overtake me, but he didn't want. So that's completely crazy. And the braking point is not that much different. I can see maybe he in his own lap he is braking 10 or 15 meters later. That's not that big difference. There is not a big difference, I can say. On the entry on this corner we are completely the same line. And now it's almost the same like the last corner. he is staying a lot more time on the inside of the curb, and I open the throttle too early and run a little bit wide, but it's already not that bad. There is one of the biggest difference you can see now. When I am turning into the corner, that's way too late. He's behind me and he's already turned in earlier than me. So his turn in line is way straighter. And what happens when the turn in line is more straight? You could brake later because the way of the braking point till almost before the apex is more straight, so the bike is more upright and you can brake harder till almost before the apex. And that is what happened when you see the picture now, that I have a little bit more lean angle already than Scott. And there is a lot of difference to the entering speed of the corner. That's the way big difference. So on the apex, for example, here, when you have the most lean angle, there isn't that much difference. Maybe he could be 5 kilometers an hour faster on the apex, but that's not a big difference in the whole lap time. It's depending on how fast you can go in and how fast you can go out. Maybe you could invest a bit on the apex for a better go out or faster go in, for example. And there's the same, like the last two corners, he is staying a lot more time on the inside. I can't wait. I knew Scott Redding is behind me and I want to go out because I was in a hurry and that was my qualifying lap ever. And Scott was waiting with the throttle. Just that's even not a second, that's a half of a second, something like that, to have more straight to the next left-hand corner, to do a really smooth change direction from right to left while you still open the throttle. That's a very hard technique to ride when you want to turn the bike from right to left, or from left to right, it doesn't matter, while you open the throttle. Because the bike just won't go straight. When you open the throttle, the bike don't want to go lean. It's not the kind of the bike. But in this case, when this technique is so important, it's way more important to stay on the inside as long as you can, to have the perfect straight to the next corner. And that's what I did wrong. And when we take a look to the next part of the track, there are long straights. And so it's very important to come out here very well and take a lot of speed into the next corners. For example, here I was 5 meters away of Scott's line, and now I have on this left hand, a lot more lean angle than him. And I have to wait with the throttle because in this lean angle I cannot open the throttle and he can. And that's a really big difference. On this corner the difference wasn't that much. He was a little bit more earlier inside than me. I always want to go round and smooth, and he's going a little bit more straight. Don't take the long way, take the short way, like this. But it's not that much like first. And he was also more inside on the curb. On my case, there are just 1 or 1.5 meters left to the curb. It's not that bad, but it's not perfect, and it counts. No? And then the exit, he took more place to the outside. What I'm not sure what is right when I see his fast lap. Sometimes he used the completely space, sometimes not, because after it there's the right hand corner, the long and fast. So in my opinion, I think I want to go not completely to the outside because I want to go back, but it depends on how long is the straight in this area. and we can see also Scott is not going completely outside now. So what I see, what I did right is, because I saw it from Scott, I turn my ass from the left to the right side during the acceleration like this, and that's good. And there I was fast, because you can see that the meters between us was not that close than before. So I like this corner. And there is also the difference again. I was in German we say cut the bike. So I was going too slow when I was turning the bike in this kind of a view, when I go straight in, turn the bike and go out again. So that's maybe was a little bit too slow. So he could go really fast in it. And then something happened what was completely strange. He was on the throttle way earlier than me, and he turns the bike a bit. When he was open the throttle on the apex, on the turning point of the view, in his own fast onboard lap, you can see that more better. And it looks like that he want to open the throttle just for turn the bike more, to slip the rear and turn the bike. And that happens way faster, the turning happens way faster compared to stay a long time in the same lean angle. And he makes like whoop, and I press the bike and go out. And that is the biggest difference. But this technique is, wow, sometimes it happens when I do riding, but I didn't want. And then he had so much more speed here, so he could overtake me just like wow, and I was like, what the hell? I was, huh? And then he was, and even he had to brake a bit later because he was overtake me. I wasn't that slow, and so he wasn't on the perfect line. He had to go over to the left again, and so the braking and the turning was not the best to the corner, maybe a little bit too late. But even he came back to the curb on the exit almost. That's crazy. That's crazy, and that's so much difference between a pro rider like him and a hobby rider like me. But after this stint, I came in and I asking to myself, what I'm doing here? You are riding, I was thinking I'm fast, like a hobby rider, always on the top 5, top 10 of the timekeeping. But when you see this, you think, okay, you should go swimming, golfing, football, whatever, but riding? But no, that's wrong. This inspired me, and I watched the onboard every time and every time again and again and again. I watched the onboard just to recognize and to reflect what's happening and what's the difference. And even I will not be there where is a pro rider like this. But when I can find a half or 1 second, that's a really big goal. And so I'm watching the onboards, and when I have the opportunity to go out with him again, maybe I have already learned something and I can do it. So I hope that was a little bit interesting for you guys. Be sure to subscribe the channel. I will do a lot of more instruction vids and something like that all around moto stuff and vlogs, and also in my German channel. When you understand German, you can also subscribe to my German channel. Okay, thank you guys for watching. Hit up the like button, smash it if you don't want to see this again, and yeah, hopefully we see us in the next one.